welcome back to another doll customization video. My name is Hannah or Lambency, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made Alice. This was actually a Mother's Day gift because my mom loves Alice in Wonderland, and I took inspiration from various depictions of Alice, so keep in mind that this is not necessarily Disney's Alice in Wonderland. Anyway, thank you to all my subscribers for your continued support, and if you're new here, hi! I hope you'll stick around. Okay, so I'll stop talking now and let's get on with the video. Also follow me on Instagram. For this doll repaint, I took an apple white doll and removed all the original hair. Then I wiped off the factory paint using acetone nail polish remover. I use a Q-tip to really get into the crevices of the face. Once the face was completely bare, I sprayed it with Mr. Superclear to prep it for the pencils. I used Faber-Castell watercolor pencils to draw on the new face. I started off with a light pink color to sketch on the face so that it's easy to erase if I make any mistakes. I use a kneaded eraser to fix my mistakes. I also put down the basic colors, the whites of the eyes, the blue irises, the blonde eyebrows, and the pink lips. I sprayed this layer with Mr. Superclear, and once it dried, I went over the sketch with darker colors and made the eyes a more vibrant blue. To add more vibrancy and dimension, it's important to spray each layer with a sealant such as Mr. Superclear. I decided to give Alice a worried expression because I wanted to try something different from the neutral expressions I do so often, and also because Alice had fear and anxiety when she first entered Wonderland, so I thought it was fitting. After finishing drawing on the face, I added blush using soft pastels. I also added some shading to her forehead and chin. After sealing it once more with Mr. Superclear, I added dots of white acrylic paint to the eyes. Then I used gloss varnish to make the eyes and lips shiny. Now on to the hair. To make the hair, all I used was light yellow 100% acrylic yarn, a metal hoop, a pet brush, and tacky glue. I cut strands of the yarn to the length that I wanted until I got a nice big pile, and then I unraveled the strands. Once everything was unraveled, I tied each strand to the metal hoop. This is so that I can easily brush it out. After tying on all the strands, I cut them off from the hoop and then glued them down onto plastic wrap. I fluffed up the top so that it would be easier to glue it down. I used a plastic palette knife to press down on the glue. Now that I've got wefts, it's time to glue them on. I used tacky glue yet again to glue them onto the doll head. And done! I tied some of her hair back because I'm going to place a bow there. Now onto the clothes. I'm using the Looking Glass Lolita pattern from DG Requiem on Etsy, which I will put in the description. I cut out one bodice, 2 sleeves, a collar, and a skirt from the blue fabric. Then I hemmed the collar using fabric glue. I placed the collar on top of the bodice and sewed along the neckline. Then I glued it down to hide the stitches. I hemmed the bottom of both the sleeves and then sewed this white trim to them. To make the sleeves puff out, I sewed a basting stitch to the top of the sleeves and then pulled the thread to make ruffles. Then I hand stitched the sleeves to the bodice because it's really difficult to use the sewing machine at this part. But once it was all properly in place, I went over my hand stitching with the machine. I folded the bodice and sewed up the sides and the sleeves. I added the same white trim that I used on the sleeves to the bottom of the skirt, which I already hemmed. I sewed down the trim and then added a basting stitch to the top of the skirt to make ruffles. Then I sewed the bodice to the skirt. Finally, I sewed up the back of the skirt, leaving an opening for the Velcro closure. Now onto her apron. I cut out one apron, one bib, and one waistband from white fabric. Then I completely hemmed the bib, except for the bottom, which will be sewed to the waistband. I hemmed the bottom of the apron skirt and then sewed on this pretty white lace trim. After hemming the waistband, I sewed the bib to the middle of it. I did a basting stitch at the top of the apron and then pulled the thread to gather it. Next, I sewed it to the waistband, and now all that's left is the closure. I stitched on these tiny snaps to the waistband. Then I could wrap it around Alice and just snap it closed. For the straps, I just tucked them under the waistband. For the finishing touches, bows. I glued a bow that I got from Daiso to the front of the waistband, as well as a bow to the back of her hair. Here she is! I gave her this little teapot accessory too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!